Good afternoon. This is Tony the TGR with another tangential presentation. This time it's about the modern working class. We got to make the math work. So, I have been on and off employed and lived in 5 major metro areas between 2015 and now. Our This includes the Bakersfield, California area, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and the greater Ann Arbor region in greater Ann Arbor, Detroit region of Michigan. In most major areas that I've been exposed to, your mean wage for regular jobs is around $15 an hour. The median rent for a lot of apartments in these places, like a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment, is $1,500 a month. Now, some of the more affluent areas have similar jobs paying up to $25 an hour, but they're immediately offset with similarly inflated rents around $2,500 a month. The prime factor I'm seeing is that rents are generally just you take a job title and you multiply it by 100, and that is your fair rent value. That is completely unsustainable these days, and I'm going to go through with some basic math and illustrate exactly why this is a problem and why we cannot continue using 100 times the wage as a basis for determining fair rent. Either way you look at it, yep, the value of rent is 100 man hours. So common sense tells us that your cost of living is 3 times the rent that you pay. This is usually once in your utilities, the second time in your groceries, and then the third is your rent. A lot of places require you to make 3 times the rent in provable monthly income in order to even apply for housing. But at the point you do that, there is nothing stopping the upscaling from your rent from outpacing the upscaling of your wages. So typically you end up as a resident somewhere, maybe 3 years tops. I did extremely lucky with my partner, only made it 5 to almost 6 years in a place. We moved out at the 6th year date. But yeah, if you use basic math, 300 man hours is now a tangible baseline of your living expenses if you're a working class citizen. If you break down that 300 man hours into 4-week months, which is 2 biweekly paychecks, this is 75 on the clock hours you're expected to work. 75 hours a week is your baseline work model. This is before taxes. This is before withholdings. This is before insurance and other adjustments. This is before children or dependents are concerned. This is before you've saved for retirement. This is before you factor in your transportation. This is beside the fact that you're not paid for lunch periods and the fact that we all have other incidental costs. Now, 75, let's just break down our personal responsibility load in man hours too. So 75 is accounting for that. If you're sleeping 8 hours a day, that's 56 more hours that are accounted for every week. If you're commuting to and from work, I'm going to be generous and estimate 10 hours, an hour to, an hour from 5 days a week. Now, this changes a little with remote work, which is why we pushed so hard for it. And for a lot of people now, it's like 2 hours to and from work, both because of distance and because of congestion and insufficient upscaling of roads to deal with the traffic flow and the fact that we're all crunched into the same business day for the most part. If you're cooking, eating, your cleanup, I'd say you spend about 3 hours a day. A meal before lunch or a meal before work and a meal after work is pretty fair, and you probably do all 3 meals on weekends. Even if you're going out to eat, you're driving there, you're driving back. You're paying for it out of your pocket, which is still hours that you've earned. The fact that you can barely buy a Subway sandwich for the same money that you earn in an hour is criminal itself. Obviously, you got to maintain your home. If you have a lawn, if you have a vehicle, you got to maintain that. I'm going to say about 8 hours a week just goes to tidying up, Another 7 hours. It's an hour a day on your personal grooming. Like that's before work, that's after work, that's getting ready for bed, that's getting out of bed. I don't think an hour a day is an unrealistic measure of that. You combine that with 4 or so hours a week of shopping, you have 175 hours of personal responsibility every week, right? So as long as you're on the ball and you're not screwing off, you can get this done, right? Wrong. The week finishes in 168 hours. You're already 1 hour a day overdrawn on your personal responsibility just by measuring your workload versus your hours. So this is why, like, even a $15 wage with 1,500 rent, as long as your rent is 100 times your man hours, your life is mathematically unsustainable. And it will continue to be so. It is specifically leveraged. 1 hour a day is slight, it's subtle. It gives you that impression if you can squeeze one more hour of productivity out of every day, you'll be just barely okay. Which is complete bullshit, and we all know it. That said, like this, times are hard. Obviously, we have to continue pushing for improved wages. Obviously, we have to continue to rebuff these increases to cost of living, to our rents, and we have to do so in a way that that doesn't just keep us mathematically displaced. Like I pushed for 15 an hour back in 2004 when these same jobs I worked paid me about 8 to 8.50 an hour because I calculated the other way around. I took the monetary value if I'm doing all of these things correctly, if I'm properly investing in my retirement, if I'm supporting a child, this is what my money looks like, and 15 an hour was the basis for earning this then in 2004. Like we've come 20 years fighting for this 15 an hour to no effect because everything has doubled in cost along the way. Again, I wish I had answers, but all I have right now are at this point are mathematical figures. They're just facts. I would love to see a way for the working class to get more money out of this job market that seems just apocalyptic and just a never-ending spiral of vying for jobs, corporate profits going through the roof, and being thanked with layoffs and severe unemployment. Like, we can't keep doing this. You keep doing what you've already done, you'll keep winning what you've already won, you know? Well, I don't think this is anything we don't already know, but someone out there doesn't know this. So if you want to leave a like, you want to leave a comment, you want to leave a recommendation for a better bargaining system for work, a better bargaining system for rent, just some kind of place where we can reach a stability point. By all means, like, I'm about it. Again, I would not subscribe to my channel on the basis of this presentation. This is a short divergence from my usual channel, which is just a struggling pick it up and put it down gaming channel. Thank you very much for joining me for this presentation, and I hope you have a great day.